Hello everyone, nice to see you here again. So this video will be just a short recap of the OhMyGo experimental Blitz Invitational. It will be divided into 3 parts. So in the first one we will see how it went, if it was successful or not. In the second one we will of course check some Go. So there will be 2 highlights out of the game 4 and game 5 of the tournament, of the final between Ali Jabarin and Lukas Podpiera. And in the third part, I will talk a little bit about the future, so what we plan next with this type of what we call new type of Go entertainment. Alright, so how did the tournament go? So I think the idea of this tournament was not just to make it great for the players, but also focus on the publicum, you know, on you guys watching. So in Czechia we have this saying that you invent something or bring up something new and it makes what we call díru do světa. It means like make a hole into the world, like out of nowhere becoming successful. So I think we didn't do any díra do světa, but it was reasonably successful. So when we started we had about 50 viewers per stream, maximum, let's say, and in the finals altogether, I think at the highest point, because we were streaming both on Twitch and YouTube, it was about 150 people, and like if you average the whole stream, it was about 100 people watching at all times, which I think is not bad, but it could have definitely be better. Maybe we could have focused more on promoting it, but on the other side, I am not sure how to reach more people. We were writing on Reddit, Facebook and Eurogofet and stuff like this. Maybe in the future we could ask some more popular YouTuber either to cast it himself or to promote the tournament. But yeah. Otherwise I was trying to collect money for the prizes so that I don't have to pay them all from my pocket. So thanks to everybody that contributed. I will not cite the people because some people don't want to be mentioned, but I really appreciate all of the help, especially one very friendly family supported all together the most, so thank you very much for that. And we collected about half of the money, like 200 euros of the 400 euros necessary, so I think I expected it to be a little bit better, but on the other side I didn't spend much time on promoting this payment method. Let's say it was just a bank transfer, so it was a bit painful to do for the viewers. So I think altogether also okay-ish how it ended up. Yeah, so I think that would be the summary. And now we can go and check the games. So the final was really exciting. Like first game, Ali was leading by about 20 points. Finally, Lukan managed to live in a corner and then Ali blundered and he won very closely. Second game, Ali was again ahead, but Lukan managed to come back in the end game. Third game, Ali was again 10 points ahead, but Lukan managed to crawl back, but Ali won by half point, so he managed to stay in the tournament. And this highlight is from the game 4, which was played with 2 minutes plus 4 seconds Fisher time. And what I want to show you is how Ali will handle this right side formation, because I thought it was very beautifully handled. So for instance, if I would be playing now, I'm pretty confident that I would add a move here, especially in a blitz game. I would be a little scared for my group. But of course, eventually, like black is building quite a nice territory, and these jumping stones don't have impact on the bottom. And if black makes this kind of double wing formation, maybe he's looking happy. And so Ali decided to play Tenuki. He's daring Lukan on how are you going to attack my stones. So Lukan kicked, it's natural to take the base and try to put pressure with this schema. So in this type of situation, if you are really scared, you can very often attach here and black will connect and you can descend and you will probably, most likely, you will live locally without any problems. But you make black very strong, and this strong shape is working quite well with this kind of Ogema. It will be harder to destroy this area. So generally you don't want to play in this way. But Ali preferred to push and push. And now it would be normal, I think, for black to play this kind of Hane. But maybe Lukan didn't like that he will finish in gote. Well, actually he wouldn't have to, but he didn't like something and just played this solid move. And now this group is still under little pressure. And then Ali goes on to ask some questions. So first he plays this Hane. He's like, are you going to cut me or are you just going to block? So black blocked. Then he played this Hane just to be sure it's exchanged. And now already we can see that white seems to have some kind of way out. And also he has this hanging connection which can form shape quite nicely. So he decides it's time for me to even counter attack. So if you take it, it started in this way. White played tenuki. And now suddenly he still has the courage to counter attack. So black blocks, extends. White needs to take care of this stone. And it's true that this feels very painful for black. He's like flattened on the second line and he needs to underconnect. It's very depressing. But still, white has two weak groups that can be attacked. So it still can be quite scary. Black jumps, white tries to fly away too. And black helps his stones and starts to attack this group. So the situation here is still a little bit unclear. So for instance, fixing your shape with just this connection could seem also like a reasonable move. But the problem is that it's not center and black will probably go on and attack these stones. It will be quite difficult to handle. So Ali plays something he planned all along, I'm pretty sure, when playing here. He cuts. And this is a question. Like, how are you going to answer? If you play here, it's double Atari and I can break into the corner. It's terrible. So black has to somehow protect. In this time pressure, Lukan just connected. And then, after white's connection, it's probably center, because suddenly you can just separate these black stones, so it's very valuable. And these are quite weak now. So he managed to get this connection in center and fix his group. If we think about it a bit more, maybe black should have just blocked here. Because after this connection and tenuki, maybe white cannot divide black as cleanly as before, because he would be cut. So yeah, there is still Aji, but it's much less, so it would have been a better move. But this was a brilliant defense from Ali. And I want to continue with how he handled this group, because it's still part of the sequence. So he played this attachment. You know, in this case, you can very easily realize, I have a weak group here, I will never invade this corner anymore. So I may as well use it to gain strength, so he attaches. But then he doesn't go to connect his group, instead he plays the correct Joseki move, connects. And now, if black plays here or here, white will probably escape. So black played this tiger's mouth, which can actually help him enclose this group a little bit, and also in some case of cutting, let's say this schema, it can also play a role, right? Just this easy sequence. Obviously this move helped. So that's why Lukan tries to kind of capture it this way. But Ali, he realizes that at the start of all of this long variation, this was black's potential. And since he didn't protect here, from this whole sequence, he already fixed this group and made this territory. So now he just simply captured this stone. And black captures the group, which seems to be like super big, but actually it's not. Because, so this happens, and in the future, this endgame is very big. And white has center, so he could, for example, play here. And this whole sequence was a masterpiece by white, quite incredible that he played it in such fast time settings. So I really enjoy this sequence. Unfortunately, in the game, white tunneled vision a little bit, because he continued playing in this area. And yeah, he basically captured this stone in gote, which was very, very small, and black get the first move here. So it didn't end up being as good, but let's not think about that. This was very nice. So the score was 2-2, and in the fifth deciding games, the players did nigiri again, so that's why Lukan is black for the second time in a row. And the game started somehow strange, but somehow even. Black decided to build this chair, and he has to take care of it now. So, especially from you, Lukan, you would maybe expect just to play some soft move and wait for his chance, but he actually decided to cut. And a very complicated sequence emerged from this. So white just extended, and I mean, it feels like black is just creating problems for himself. I think in the post-game interview, Lukan didn't consider this extension or something like that. So maybe it was not the best, but it led to interesting situation. So white played shape, black jumped, white pushed, white clamped, and blocked here. So I think this is very interesting. So the last game is played with 1 minute plus 3 seconds, so it's ultra blitz. And again, I would for sure play this Kosumi, but I know it hurts here. Like either if white wants, he will be able to capture these 4 stones if you tenuki, but it's arguably not that big. Or later, which I think is worse, he can attack the whole group, so it's quite painful. So yeah, but on the other hand, if you play here as Lucas and white covers you, it's quite scary for this group, right? So this was quite brave to try to keep the shape there. And then black pushed, Hane got cut. And now his group is basically enclosed. There is an eye here, if you want to make it, but you won't be able to make the second eye on the top. So now it's really like life and death situation, and you have to solve it in these fast time settings. And so very often in Blitz, like counting is possible. It's recommended, but you don't have so much time, so it's really about your shape feeling. So Lukan cut, it's played here, and maybe for done players the sequence won't be so spectacular. But for instance, when I was commenting it, I wasn't sure at all how to continue as black, so white just covered. And now you can be thinking about like pushing and squeezing, but if you do, for instance, this, then, you know, these stones are quite weak too, and white is escaping. And basically now this is white's only problem. So if it starts escaping and there are these attaris, it's a problem. So Lukan played, which is the best shape, obviously, this peep, and is asking white, how are you going to answer here? So of course it's a question if this move works. Like white's toughest answer he could make is to play this connection. Then black would block and get out. And then white would have to try to get out in this area, and the variations are very complicated. And Ali, I think the feeling is it should work for black, but maybe it works for white actually. But white didn't see it. If white wanted to play kind of simpler, he could have just pushed to add liberties. Then these kind of things, since there are cuts now, should work quite easily for white. So black would capture these stones, and white would capture here. And it would be kind of like, yeah, compromise from both sides. But it's good for white because it's quite big to capture this. But Ali didn't want to, you know, let go. He already had the fish on the hook, so he didn't want to release it. So he played instead this kind of empty triangle that is trying to fix this and helping to get out at the same time. So again, what do? First you spoil the shape of your opponent, and then again, just beautiful shape. And Ali tried to get out of this. The variations are very complicated, but if we take a look how it ended up, black managed to play here. Of course, if white tries to take, he will be captured. And white played this Atari, extended, black escaped, and white escaped. And suddenly this group is now alive because there is an eye here and an eye here. So there was a big mistake of white in this sequence, we will get to it, but I really like this from black, how he, like your legs should be shaking at this point, but just beautiful shape and beautiful shape, very clean, and it worked in the game. Maybe it wasn't working yeah, if white played precisely. And White's big mistake and probably losing move of this game was that after this extension of Black, he extended here, because White most likely can play this Atari, connect. Black has to take here, because otherwise he will die again. And then White could capture this group in a much better manner than if you compare it to the game, right? Where it's smaller, and also this group is connected but doesn't have many liberties. So, and yeah, I mean, if you just look at it, this is way better, right? So then Black got quite a big advantage, and he managed to create this big territory on the right side. White invaded and died. So this was Lukan's victory, and congratulations to him for winning this stressful tournament. Alright, so we got a bit of go, and now about our future plans with this tournament. So many people enjoyed it, and I would like to continue in some way, but I'm not sure if the time setting is the best. Like the players themselves, they were quite happy with the time setting, they wouldn't change it. They even said it was surprisingly playable, like they thought it was going to be completely impossible, the 1 + 3 seconds, but you saw it was quite a reasonable game that we were just watching. But I really want to make this experience as good as possible for the viewers, and I think that these last 2 games are just too fast to follow, maybe. It's very hard to comment, and maybe if it's like stressing you out as the viewer, like watching too fast, maybe it's also not so good. And a friend of mine told me that basically in chess, these speed championships, you have 3 time settings, but one of them is like slower, faster, and super fast. So actually there are like 3 different types of speed. Whereas in this tournament, the speed increased also, so the speed was different, but it was basically blitz, 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 super blitz. And actually the feeling from the game is quite similar. So I will not host the next tournament yet, but I will try to run some show matches with professional players. And the time setting I want to offer would be a bit different. Like there will be one slow game, like 10 minutes plus 10 seconds. It takes about an hour to play. Then maybe 2 mid-range games, like 5 minutes plus 5 seconds, which is almost something similar to the slowest time, slower times we had here. And then some super blitz. The idea would be that if it's played the best of 5 match, it should still take about maximum 3 hours, otherwise I think it's too exhausting. So I need to figure this out. Also, the next iteration, I am not sure if I will manage, but if we get some bigger sponsorship, we can make the tournament bigger, and maybe there could be like 16 players. But then I run into the problem that I think it's nice to have this stream to follow it. If it's just played without commentary, I don't think many people will watch it, since it's so fast. But if there are 16 players, it will be hard for me to find time like every weekend. So it would need to be some collaboration with maybe the other European professionals that they will be also casting instead of just playing. Especially if we give them some money for it, it shouldn't be a problem. But I would like for the stream to have the same kind of image, you know, the layout to be the same, maybe nicer than mine that you are seeing now. And it's maybe hard to accomplish. For instance, when I stream, I have 3 screens here and it's a bit complicated. So I would actually like to teach my wife to handle this OBS. And the idea would be that the streamer would just stream, his share would be shared with my wife, but she would handle everything on the, you know, the changing scenes and etc, etc. So this way it could be very easy for the streamers to have a high quality stream, and also saves a bit of my time. So I will see about this. It's for sure the way to become more professional, when you have one guy that is commenting and second guy that is kind of taking care of the stream. So that's the idea I would like to do, and I have to learn a bit about the technical stuff there. But anyway, so I think in the near future, I would say in 2 months, up to 2 months, there will be a show match which you can look forward watching too. Yeah, so that's it. I'm happy you tuned in, and see you around. Bye bye.